Hello everyone, welcome to my Star Wars Unlimited Jump to Lightspeed card review series. This is a series where I'm going to try and review every single card from Star Wars Jump to Lightspeed. This is the Vigilance Villainy edition of the list. I rate all my cards from 1 star to 5 star. I'm going to include a section from all my videos of my star rating. It's the same exact segment in all of my videos, so please just skip ahead if you've already seen it and don't want to see it again. What are my card ratings, right? So a 5-star card. These are just meta-defining core cards. Think Triple Dark Raid, think Wrecker, think Ruthless Raider, right? These are cards if you don't have a plan for, you're in for a world of hurt. Your deck really doesn't function as a deck if it doesn't have any kind of answer to these cards. 4-star card. These are just great supporting cards for colors it's used in. Or it enables like a leader to be more consistent and allows them to consistently get top 8s. I think of like P38 and Darksaber. Right, P38 is so nuts in Django. And Darksaber, like if Sabine gets a Darksaber off on you, it's pretty much just GG. 3-star. These are just good supporting cards for the meta decks that they can be teched in and out based on the meta, so they might see play. So, like, Crafty Smuggler is one of these cards, right? Against ping decks, it's amazing. Against other decks, it's just okay. Tranquility is really good against control decks, right? Because it can just keep bringing another Tranquility back from your discard pile, so you never run out of threats. So you never run out of gas, so you always just beat the control deck, eventually. 2-star cards. These are just okay cards. They're sideboard at best against very specific matchups. Look the Other Way is one of these cards. It's Concord Dawn Interceptors, and then 1-star cards. This was actually the hardest card to find an example of, right? Because it's so forgettable. And I chose Vanguard Ace. It was a set 1 card that was pretty bad. Okay, Director Krennic. 2 cost, 2/2 shielded. So he's basically a crafty smuggler in blue villain, which really could use a crafty smuggler. He works with Thrawn, so when defeated ability, like your when defeated cards come in at 1 turn cheaper. Ideally, you would want to look at like 4-cost when defeated cards, because this dude has a huge target on his back. So if you play him turn 1, you can expect that like everybody is going to do whatever's in their power to kill Krennic. He's good against Tarkin Town because he can't be ping Tarkin Town, which is very, very good and relevant in these control decks to try and have some kind of board presence and mana cheating and stuff like that. Imperial Official are good traits, the relevant traits. His stats are like technically below curve, but I mean, he's still good even without using his ability. But speaking of his ability, and speaking of like 4-cost when defeated cards, here is actually, from what we've seen so far in Jump to Lightspeed, and every when defeated card that like villain blue would have access to, this is it. 3 cards, unless more get spoiled. So I actually was like super high on Krennic until I noticed this. So unless I'm missing something here, his ability is actually a little bit worse than I thought, because everybody's going to kill this dude. If he survives and you start doing your bigger when defeateds for 1 cost less, sure, he's great. But like, this would have been the key to making Krennic insane. That being said, I still think he's a 4-star card. I think he's good, not like meta-defining, meta-breaking, but he's very good. Onyx Squadron Brute. This was, I believe, showed off in their Thrawn, the dev's Thrawn deck that he built. When defeated, heal 2 damage from a base, and it has the same stats equal to Inferno 4, which already sees play. In Thrawn, I think this almost replaces Inferno 4. You might run like two Inferno 4s, 3 Onyx Squadron Brutes, or like the inverse of that with another one in your sideboard or something like that. A 2-cost, 2/3 when defeated, heal 4 in Thrawn this early in the game is actually nuts. I mean, people are talking about adding 10 extra cards in their deck, or starting with 1 less card in hand to basically get like 4 extra health, right? This, you just run a okay on curve statted space unit, and you basically get like a similar effect. Yeah, and you might want to run this and Inferno 4, like I said. I think this is a 3-star card. Heal 2 is a lot worse than Heal 4. In Thrawn, this card is a 5-star card. In other decks, it's a 2-star card or a 3-star card. So I think it's safely saying it's a 3-star card. Is right where it should be. But this card actually, it wouldn't surprise me if this card ends up being like the best blue villain card in the set. You know what won't be the best blue villain card in the set? Interceptor Ace. It's a 3-cost, 2/3 grit, piloting without a discount, still 3 blue villain, and attached unit gets grit, +2/+3. I have no reason why you would play this card. It's bad stats. Yes, it's a pilot with grit, but it's not worth it. There's so many better things you can be doing on 3 resources than play this card. 1 star. Iden Versio. 4/3 shielded. Piloting. So you can pilot her for 3, and with this upgrade attaches to a unit, it gets a shield. And it's a +3/+3. It's not great stats, but it is shielded. And I think that could matter in like a ping meta. It's good against Tarkentown, but it may be too slow. Tarkentown, mostly, I'm not really thinking Quinlan here, but like against Django, is a 3/3 shielded gonna be worth it? Like maybe if your turn 1 play in space lives, putting this on it might go insane, but I doubt that happens that often. 3 cost +3/+3 shielded is a good upgrade, but upgrades are very slow. So it just depends on if you can get this off. I do, like, the problem is I see a world where you could, turn 1 space unit, turn 2 Iden Versio, and then it's just like you can't play in space anymore because there's just a wall there and it's beating you down for 5 every turn. I mean, I think Iden's a 3-star card. It wouldn't surprise me if she gets dropped down to like a 2-star card, and it wouldn't surprise me if she goes up to a 4-star card. And I just want to put this little caveat here. Currently, the only turn 1 ground vehicle is Stolen Landspeeder. If we ever get a turn 1 ground vehicle, Iden could be a 5-star amazing broken card. Because if you have like let's just call a 2/3 ground unit. Turn 1 play vehicle. Iden can pilot it on turn 2. And then it's now a +3 shielded. So it should have 5 attack, shielded, and it can just sit there and wait for Sabine, or wait for these aggro decks to play stuff to the ground. It can completely shut down the ground arena. And I think that's something that's worth looking into and noting with Iden. The Banshee. Stats are on curve. 4/5, do nothing. Separatist. It's a little slow for a 5-cost ship. The ability is on attack, not when played. So you might deal damage to a unit equal to the amount of damage on this unit, but like, is that good? I don't know. Just play the gunship that's already seeing play. It can be a turn 2 play in Blue Coup, but we haven't seen Blue Coup be a thing, and I don't think this card tips it over the edge. 1 star. Corvus. So, Corvus is a Restore 2, 4/5 for 5. At 5 resources, this is on curve. In Piet, this is a better Kanan, and it's above curve. So, Kanan is a 4/5 Jedi Force. Basically, like Restore like 1.5 is what everybody calls it. This is a 4/5 Restore 2. And then it's like got this fringe win plate effect that I really don't think will be that relevant. But the Restore is extremely relevant in Blue-Green Villain. I really only see this being played in Piet and not Thrawn. And, you know, is a 4/5 Restore 2 going to be worth it? I'm not sure. And is blue really what Piet's gonna run? He might like red. There's gonna be so many. There's like 5 green-blue villain leaders that are gonna be like fighting for who's the best. So I don't see like Corvus making Piet like the premier blue-green villain deck. I think it's a 3-star card. I think Piet sideboards it, and it could be really, really good. But it also wouldn't be surprised if it goes down to 2 stars. The Chimera. So the stats, it's above the current curve, but 11 stats may be the new normal at 6 cost space units. And this card is designed to be played in Thrawn, which, you know, is fitting. It's his ship. It's a greedy card, though, and it needs something to be on board to really get value. Like, do you really want to play a 5/6 do nothing? And that's where I think this card's going to struggle. So its when played is you may use another unit's when defeated. And its when defeated is just like meh. I almost just like look over it when I'm evaluating the card. I probably shouldn't because 4 TIE fighters are like, it's not nothing. But let's say you have the Onyx Squadron Brood out. You can play Chimera, and then you can double the Onyx Squadron Brutes when defeated with Chimera, and then trade the Onyx Squadron Brute in on your next action, and then heal another 2. So it's a total of 6 healing, which is great. But if I kill Onyx Squadron Brute, Chimera's a 5/6 do nothing. So I think Thrawn might only run like 2 copies of this, and maybe like a third in the sideboard or something. It's a 3-star card. I think it's good in Thrawn. I don't think it's good elsewhere. And Thrawn might not even want to run 3 copies of it. So I don't think it can go higher than 3 stars. Okay, the Fleet Interdictor. It's a 6/6 Sentinel in space with a when defeated, defeat a space unit that costs 3 or less. It's one of, I looked this up, it's one of 2 7-cost capital ships Piet can pull on his flip turn. The other one is in yellow. And I really am not sure if yellow is going to be the color that people want to play in Piet. That remains to be seen. Sentinel, it's good, especially if this comes down on turn 4, right? On the 5 resource turn. The when defeated's cool because you have to kind of trade into it, but it can be played around because you just trade the small ships in, and then the big ships are immune. It's got so the when defeated trigger's decent. I just see in anything outside of Piet, this card may just come out too late to see play. And in Piet, I think it's a sideboard card. I don't think you want to run this card like in the main deck, especially probably not 2 of, maybe 1 of if you're like really worried about aggro. So I think it's a 2-star card. I think it's a sideboard card in specifically Piet, and that's it. Power from Pain. It's grit that can stack on grit, which is a really, 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 really cool card for grit decks. How many grit decks do you see play? I haven't seen any. And it doesn't work in like Chewy, which would also be cool because, I mean, I guess you could run it for 5 in like a Chewy deck, but do you really want to pay 5 for this? I don't even really want to pay 3 for it. So it's designed to be played with the new Asajj, and I don't think the new Asajj is that's that good. 1 star. No glory, only results. Take control of a non-leader unit, then defeat it. Listen, it's a better Vanquish. It's one of the only ways to counter Ruthless Raider. Because Ruthless Raiders, when defeated, is a nightmare. Because you have to kill it, but then when you kill it, it still hits you for half its attack. Thrawn runs this, I think. Like, it's a no-brainer in Thrawn. And maybe the other blue villain leaders do too. I mean, here's the removal that it's competing against. I don't think it takes, like, Takedown, it serves a different role, right? Takedown's really there for, I gotta kill DJ on 4, or Tech on 4. I've gotta kill Sabine when she flips. you know, it might even end up being like, I got to kill these new aggro leaders when they flip. So I don't think Takedown's going anywhere. These decks do sometimes run Fell and Vanquish, and I think in any blue villain deck, I think you almost just replace it with no glory only results. Because, like, the Fell the Dragon, the one extra resource, most of the time doesn't matter because you're not playing this typically on 4 resources because there's not really a scary 5-cost card. And in my blue decks, I've actually started switching to using a couple Vanquishes, and if I could run no glory only results and get, no glory only results a K2SO, I mean, that can be pretty cool. So I think this card is a 5-star card. I really do. I think it replaces some meta relevant cards already in blue villain. I really do. I think this might be the best card that blue villain has this set. And the Annihilator. It is a beefy boy, but it comes out on 11. It's got a really good when played effect. When played, I hit your unit and I never want to see it again unless you have Palp's Return. Its when defeated effect can be played around. So you're going to when played, let's say you when played and kill my Luke, I have to discard my other Lukes. Okay, I'm going to Fell the Dragon it, or I'm going to no glory only results it and it comes back to me. I get to do the when defeated and kill your stuff. So I really only am valuing this with a when played, and the when defeated is like, you've already won. What are you doing? But this card can just win you games. But it's only a sideboard card against control mirrors. I don't think you want to main deck this card. So I think it's a 2-star card. I think it's got a great effect. But, I mean, truthfully, are you really main decking this card into Django? I don't think so. And so this is the overall ratings. We have, one 5-star card, a 4-star card, a few 3-star cards, and 5 2 and 1-star cards. There's a total of 11 cards for blue villain, and the fact that 6 of them are, I think, somewhat relevant, 2 of them are really relevant, I think that's good. I think blue villain got some really nice tools, and I think it might push some of blue villain into a more powerful position. So thank you for watching. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate it. If you have any comments, if you disagree with some of my takes, please feel free to let me know, and have a wonderful day.